Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again. Lose again, lose again, lose again, lose again, lose again.
Under the Fair Use Act, these videos are for information and educational purposes, and I do not own the rights to any of these videos that are shown. All rights reserved to the original content creators.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Today, man, we're gonna have a short show, but it's a great one because there's a lot going on that is proving that Donald Trump is working as the president, and it's just a great thing, man, because I know for a fact that the outcomes that are happening right now in America would not be happening if Kamala Harris was the president. That's a fact. It's just a fact. No word salads. No forever wars and just garbage. No garbage. Just straight getting it done. 200 days in the White House, and this guy has done so much, and it's only going up, man. But the biggest story for me in all of this is, why are the Democrats going so hard to go against things that actually the average American wants, like the SAVE Act? The SAVE Act, which would make it a requirement for you to have a real ID to register to vote and to also vote in federal elections. But you won't have to register every year or whatever. But you have to show ID to vote every single year, though. And everybody, black, Latino, white, all Americans, the majority wants real ID. Majority of people do not want illegal immigrants in the country, soaking up all the resources. Like, this is just what it is. But these Democrats, for some whatever wicked reason, want to continue to, go against Donald Trump, who is trying to save America, bro. The dollar was literally plummeting, and it was because of what Joe Biden and the Democratic Party was doing. And now Trump is coming in. He's bringing he's not only trying to make the election safe to where people actually feel as though their vote counts, right? Trying to get these illegal immigrants out of the country, uh, especially the criminal ones who've done heinous things to American citizens, bro. And more importantly, the he's changing the play. The whole, we're hearing talks of JD Vance even talking about, yes, there's a new world order and all of this, and that's because he's going against the globalists. Donald Trump is actually not with the globalist plan that I think the British or whoever, the EU, all of them, our so-called allies, want to do. He's going against all that. He's saying, no, you know what? For once, America's going to look out for America. And that's how it should be, you know? And he's been saying it for decades that these other countries are taking advantage of America, bruh. And so, we finally got a president who's actually standing on business for you, the American people, man. And it's actually really, really dope, man. Before we start, man, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Help your boy on the road to 1K subscribers. I can't do it without you. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live. Yo, in March, mid-March, that's my goal. But sometime in March, I'm definitely launching online. Going to be able to deliver this fly sacrifice greatness merch to your doorstep. It's going to be online. You're going to be able to get it directly. This is made by my hands, and it's going to be dope. So make sure y'all look out for the new. I'm also going to be doing the Never Gonna Lose Again clothing brand, and obviously the sacrifice greatness. and I got another one called Billionaire Dreams. So we gonna be doing some dope things this year, man. It's gonna be dope, and I'm trying to grow this channel and also grow, the clothing brand too. Because I'm gonna eventually move away from politics, even though I like talking about it. I think it's very interesting, and I think it's actually important, bro. I think it's important for the average person to kind of know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So I continue to talk about it because, uh, you know, I just hate seeing the average person that's just so ignorant to what's really going on out here. I'm not saying that I'm a historian or I just know every single thing. I'm not saying that at all. I'm learning just like everybody else. I'm just becoming more intrigued at what's going on and how we've been lied to for decades, bro, by a party who claims they give a fuck about you, but they don't. And we see that because of look at all the fraud that's going on in these Democratic states. Look how hard they're going against Donald Trump for things that you're like, hold on. Like, it's nothing wrong with like you showing your ID to vote. I mean, we aren't supposed to have illegal immigrants and dead people voting, so it's only right. You know what I'm saying? And most people don't think elections are they think they're rigged anyway. They think they're rigged for whoever they want to win to win. This is why I continue to say that Donald Trump is actually the guy who is going against the globalist elite. And he's not a puppet. And this is the reason why they hate Donald Trump so much, bro. It's crazy, man. But let's get straight into it, man.
To the show, ladies and gentlemen, the Save America Act has just passed another major hurdle, passing the House of Representatives yesterday, making its way over to the Senate, and some big news regarding the likelihood that it actually passes in the Senate. There is a real chance, a very real chance this bill passes, makes its way to the president's desk. Democrats and the media out in full force to try and gaslight the public about the perils of voter ID. And a bill has momentum when all of a sudden all of mainstream media can't stop talking about it. Once again, Democrats finding themselves on the wrong side of an 80-20 issue. We're going to set the record straight today on the Save America Act. We're going to look at the arguments that Dems are making, because they have two. They're making two major arguments about why they say they'll vote no this week, both of which I believe are moot points, and we'll prove it to you. And Republicans don't seem to be responding correctly to this argument. Let's start here.
What voting rights is he taking away from black voters?
Oh, if we look at
the SAVE Act?
the SAVE Act, that's exactly what we're talking about. That is actually going to continue to disenfranchise overwhelmingly a lot of people of color. There are so many civil rights organizations that have run the data. If we look at the way that it is going to disenfranchise black voters, it's the same reason why Chuck Schumer called it Jim Crow 2.0.
So,
this is the same president. If we want to continue...
You haven't said how yet.
I am talking about it. It's the way that you're putting new poll taxes on this when you're making people have... That's what we can call them now. It's kind of an idiom, right?
Anything.
If you want to say that people have to prove that they are citizens, that they have to prove with a voter ID.
Like, just think about this, bro. We talked about this before, but just think about this. This is how disrespectful these people are, bro. Like, they say you're disenfranchised if you're black and people of color because you don't have an ID. Yo, bro, you can't make this shit up, bro. Like, what? Bro, ex-felons get Social Security cards, birth certificates, and IDs when they leave prison. Ex-felons, criminals, ex-criminals, people trying to change their lives and for the better. And bro, people need IDs for everything, including getting welfare. So, the stigma of being poor and being on welfare. So, in order to be on welfare, you have to have an ID, bro. You have to show forms of identification. So even poor people have an ID, bro. But these people are so desperate that they're willing to disrespect a whole group of people by saying that they're so ignorant, so poor that they can't afford an ID. And they're also making a point that, like, people aren't smart enough to get one. Like, it's crazy to me.
The reality is
It's
you're
ridiculous.
layering.
And notice that he asked her how. How? Tell me how. How does this disenfranchise black people or people of color? How? She didn't say anything. She just talked about I don't know, the civil rights organization who ran the data. What data? What data? Because the data that Scott Jennings is about to quote sounds a little bit more realistic to me.
What is a constitutional right for the American people and making it harder for people to vote in this country, and it's going to disenfranchise black voters.
Concern you that you're making all these claims? You've yet to lay out how it's hurting anyone, but 76% of black voters think we should show an ID to vote. 80% of Hispanic voters, 83% of the American people. Are you saying that black voters
the SAVE
are too dumb to know what's good for them? I mean,
it sounds pretty,
it sounds pretty condescending to me.
Look at Abby. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. I'm about to say some dumb shit. Like, bro, these people are fucking.
3/4 of black voters.
That is not.
Like, and this is a fact that most Americans, including black, Latino, everybody, this is an 80-20 issue, bro. And the 20% is all the Democrats that's in the fucking even that's in politics and all of these news anchors right here. Other than that, bro, most Democrats and Republicans that are citizens, bro, want real ID. They want you to be able to show your ID to prove that you're a citizen in order to vote. This is just what it is. He just stated the facts.
Who want voter ID?
So the last 48 hours, corporate media has been leading their coverage with the Save America Act, which they never do. You only see this when a significant piece of legislation has a meaningful chance of becoming law. They know Republicans may actually push this across the finish line. Yesterday, Wednesday, the House passing the Save America Act again by a margin of 218 to 213. The new and improved bill requiring proof of citizenship to register to vote, as well as photo ID to vote in federal elections. In a big surprise, Democrat Henry Cuellar of Texas breaking with his party and joining Republicans voting yay. This means the bill now makes its way to the Senate, where it needs a simple majority to pass.
I'm going to let y'all know this right now, bro. This bill is getting passed, bro. It's getting passed. And it's a good thing, man, because I know a lot of people, and I used to be the same way, man. I didn't have no faith in elections. I feel as though mostly all presidents were just puppets in the grand scheme of things. And, you know what I mean? Trump kind of changed my mind with that. I'm not going to lie, man. Because, you know, he gets hate on both sides. And from everybody. And it's just the level of it. You know, it was presidents before Donald Trump who got scrutinized and things like that. But the level of, you know, like they tried to kill this man on national television. Like, how crazy can you get? You know what I mean? Like, so I just can't believe that this guy and things that he said, like for instance, like, you know, not Obamacare. I don't want to give the money to these big insurance companies who already are ripping us off. Let's give it straight to the people. So does that sound like a globalist elite who wants to rob you? No, that sounds like somebody who is saying, no, I want American citizens to benefit from any health care benefits that we're able to provide as the federal government. That's what they're saying. That's what he's saying. You know, he ain't saying, nah, give it to him. Because if that was the case, he would have just signed Obamacare again. If he wanted these big insurance companies to be the ones who profit and monopolize the healthcare market. You know, but he's saying, no, it's enough for that. They done made billions and billions of dollars. It's time for it to change. So this is why I continue to say that Donald Trump isn't, you know, with all of this shit. And even with like all this stuff that they try to put on him with Epstein and stuff, when you get down to it and you see a lot of this stuff that's coming out, you see that he was telling the truth, that he cut him off and all of this stuff. And you see actually Bill Clinton and a lot of Bill Gates, Obama, all these people are coming up in the Epstein files and a lot more.
Stuff is crazy, before the Senate can vote on this, it needs to get out of debate. The Senate, it holds a debate stage for every bill. To move out of this debate stage, 60 senators need to agree that it's ready to be voted on. Senate Majority Leader Thune, he's been considering changing the rules to a talking filibuster, the norm for the Senate, which would force the bill to the floor. He's not eliminating the filibuster by doing this. He would be changing the rules to a talking filibuster, where Dems can continue to filibuster, but they need to be on the floor physically debating. The moment they stop debating, the bill moves to the floor for a full vote. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because Leader Thune, he's been hesitant on doing this. He's intimated he'd only be willing to do it if, for sure, if 100% he has the votes to pass it. Up until yesterday, Republicans only had 46 guaranteed yes votes. They need 50. Well, all of that just changed this morning. Senator Tim Scott adding his name as a co-sponsor to the bill, bringing that number up to 47. Then 2 hours ago, Senator Wicker joining as well, bringing the total to 48 Republican senators. Then, breaking just moments ago, John Thune, the leader, majority leader, another one of the holdouts, requested to add his name as a co-sponsor to it as well, which means we are now at 49 guaranteed.
And I think he's going to bring up John Fetterman too. John Fetterman, I seen earlier, he was talking about, he agrees with the SAVE Act and whatnot. So if John Fetterman jumps over, that's 50 votes. And J.D. Vance is the tiebreaker. So that's why I said this is definitely going to get passed for sure. And it should, bro. And it just goes, this is the thing. You know what's going to be great about this passing, right? What's going to be great is the fact that I want to see if they still have the same energy for these illegal immigrants that are in the country. Like, we're going to see when they know that these people can no longer be used in the upcoming elections. We're going to see in real time how Democrats truly look at illegal immigrants. I guarantee they won't even be talking about them no more. It won't be no more of these protests in Minnesota and all of this stuff going on against ICE. ICE should be out there doing their job, regular things to be back to normal, bro. These people don't care, bro. I can't wait, honestly, because I want to see.
Yes votes. So who are we missing? We're missing Mitch McConnell, Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, and Tom Tillis. Here's the latest with Susan Collins. Watch this.
Now that the Save America Act has passed the House, can we count on you to support it in the Senate?
I'm looking at it. The House made some significant changes. For example, you would not have to prove citizenship every time.
She sound like her voice is on rewind. Like, what the fuck?
You vote. That's a good change. Makes sense to have a requirement the first time when you register, but not every time.
So that sounds like somebody who is leaning on the side of voting for this bill.
I've long supported voter ID. There's some issues on what are federal and what are state. So I'm still this is a work in progress, but I've got to go to the health committee.
Thank you.
Now that's only Republicans. The big cliffhanger is the possibility of Maverick John Fetterman, a Democrat senator from Pennsylvania, breaking with his party and voting yes. That could happen. This week, Fetterman came out in support of national voter ID and was asked if he will vote no on the SAVE Act. The media, his fellow colleagues, are trying to get him on the record and say, are you a no? He refused to do that. He's refusing to say no. We're hearing he's a yes. If the bill moves to the floor, he will vote yes. He hasn't joined as a co-sponsor, which would guarantee his vote. He's doing what John McCain used to do. He puts himself in the center, making his vote worth the most. If John Fetterman is also a yay.
Yeah, man. So shout out to RJ Talks, man. Hold on real quick. I want to see something. Let me see. I think he was also talking about something else. But no, I want to play this clip real quick. Is it just, bro, these people kill me. Abby Phillips,
the argument they're making is this. Watch.
You should be thinking about your constituents.
Just look at her.
Or your
I think they're smart enough to figure out how to register to vote, Abby.
Hold on. Most Americans don't have a passport. Many Americans.
Did you hear that? A passport? Okay. Okay. But hold on. Let's see.
Don't have access to their birth certificate.
She says most Americans don't have access to their birth certificates.
Many women.
A birth certificate costs, I think, $26, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And you could get a copy. I think it's like 35 altogether. Like, bro, you could go everybody knows where they're from. Like 99% of people know what state they were born in, what city they were born in, and they could go to City Hall and pay $26 to get a birth certificate, to get a social. It's not complicated, bro. It really ain't.
A majority of women who change their names for marriage have to provide additional proof.
This lady right here, Abby Phillips, is what you call a coon, a house nigga. This is the definition. You know, not people like Brian Maxwell and myself, you know what I'm saying? Because we support Trump. This is what you call, this is a person who now listen. Go to Google, right? Put in, did Democrats filibuster against the Civil Rights Act? That's all you got to do, right? And what will come up, just my first time reading it, yes, a coalition of Southern Democrats known as the Southern Bloc led a 60 working day filibuster to obstruct the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which was the longest in Senate history at the time. Senators like Richard Russell and Strom Thurmond, who later switched parties, aimed to stop the legislation, but it was eventually overcome with support from both Republicans and Northern Democrats. Okay. So, bro, these people be just be stunting, bro. Stunting. They're straight liars, bro. Like, I can't, like, this is my thing, bro. The very party that people think is the party who helped pass the Civil Rights Act and all of these things, they're not. They didn't want to pass it. They didn't even want you to get out of slavery, bro. They actually fought for you to stay enslaved, bro. You know? They try to separate the language and shit like that, bro. Or Southern Democrat. No, it's the Democrats. Just the Democrats. You know what I'm saying? I did a whole piece on it. You can go back to one of my early videos and watch it about the Democratic Party and its origin and all of that stuff. All that good shit. But listen to this lady.
That they've changed their legal names in order to register to vote.
I have heard Democrats
Scott, why
make
don't
these
you
same
actually
arguments.
respond to the substance of what I'm saying?
I am. And the
as
substance
opposed
is
to
this.
making this about something that it's not.
You're saying,
it's not just about voter ID. It's also about...
She's going to say, ask a question and then literally talk over him.
Black voters and rural people are too stupid to figure out how to register to vote.
No, that's not so offensive.
That is so offensive. No, that's exactly what y'all are saying. Y'all are saying that black folks are too dumb to go get a license, to go get a birth certificate, to go get these pretty much essential things that you need as a citizen in the United States of America, bro. Like, come on. You know, I've lost my birth certificate. I've lost my social. We've all probably done this, bro. We've moved, whatever. And you just go to City Hall. I'm from Camden. I go straight to City Hall and go get my birth certificate. Go get my social. It's that simple, bro. So if anybody needs help going to get a birth certificate or a social, please email me at N.G.L.A podcast at Gmail. And I'll help you get your birth certificate. Or your social. This shit is out of control, bro. Like the level of ignorance that these people think that you walk around with is insane, bro. It's actually ridiculous. Anyway, let's get into this next one with my guy, Brian Maxwell.
Notice how every time a Republican takes office, the Democrats start acting like it's the end of the world. I mean, the minute we cut taxes or trim the budget.
Yo, listen to this, bro, because, let me run it back, because what Ronald Reagan says in this, bro, is exactly what they be doing, bro. It's actually wild. So it's like nothing new is the whole point. It's like the same playbook they've been using for decades.
Notice how every time a Republican takes office, the Democrats start acting like it's the end of the world. I mean, the minute we cut taxes or trim the budget, they start screaming that the sky is falling. Now, don't get me wrong. I admire their consistency. If the stock market surges, they say it's just helping the rich. And if it crashes, they say, yep, that's what happens under Republican leadership. And don't even get me started on foreign policy. A Republican president could be shaking hands with world leaders and signing peace deals, and they'd say, it must be appeasement. But the minute there's tension overseas, they rush to the nearest camera like it's Black Friday saying, see, we told you the world would catch fire if he was in charge. Now, I've always said, it's fine to disagree on policy. That's democracy. But if your best shot at winning is hoping the American people lose, well, maybe you're in the wrong country.
All right, Patriots. So with all of the gloom and doom that's been going on with everybody going insane over Epstein, and even I put out a video or two dispelling the Democrat lies and bringing the news on how they finally had to admit that Trump was not only the first, but the only person of prominence to come forward and call out Epstein and his BS, calling Ghislaine Maxwell evil. And this is all the way back in 2006, not to mention when he booted him out of Mar-a-Lago in 2004. So we got that going on. Then all of the BS with what's going on with the fraud in Minnesota and all of these ICE, these paid for ICE riots and whatnot. And let me tell you something else. I'm going to do a video on this soon. They've already found $60 million being funneled from NGOs, which stands for non-government organization, that have been paying these groups, these rioting groups, to go out there paying for the signs, paying for the hotel.
Hey, yo, hold on. So I said, so I put in Google, I said, what important bills did Democrats filibuster? It says key historical filibusters by Democrats. It says Southern Bloc. They try to make it Southern, but Democrats, but whatever. Anti-lynching bill. Wow. Of 1934, 1938. So they were blocked in the Van Nuys Act 1938 were blocked. Wagner. Okay. So it says the anti-lynching bill, the anti-poll tax bill, Civil Rights Act of 1957, 64, and 60. God dang. Mm, 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 mm.
Hotels, paying for the buses. They found 14 NGOs that have been funneling it. And of course, one of the main sources is Soros. So the government is already on top of it. And I know some of you saying, well, what's the use of knowing that if they're not going to do anything? I assure you, they're pushing forward on it. When have we ever gone this deep and start identifying who the sources of the money is, how much it is, who's it going to? Nobody's ever done this before. So it's uncharted territory. And we know the Democrats are working overtime to try to keep this from coming out, just like they did the Epstein files. But on a lighter note, America is back. Now, we heard when President Trump took office and was talking about tariffs and the big, beautiful bill, all the Democrats did was run around fear-mongering. Oh, the tariffs are going to crush the economy. Trump is going to destroy the economy. He's doing these trade deals and the whole time, what he was doing was destabilizing the Democrat power base, which blocking USAID from continuing to fund their domestic terrorist programs. He also cut off their other slush funds where they were taking taxpayer monies allegedly through things like the Social Security office, the Treasury, where you got hundreds of thousands of dead people and people that don't exist getting hundreds of millions of dollars. Where'd that money go? Because it's funny now, the protests are very small and they're very targeted to Minneapolis or Chicago. And we know back in 2020, when the getting was good, they were all over the place, causing massive damage. Not anymore. So in this video, we're going to go over the good things because what they're doing is dominating the news cycles with this BS Epstein and all this other crap. But they're dominating the news cycle so Americans don't know about the great job that the Trump.
It's called mass distractions, bro. That's all they want to do is cause mass distractions. So you don't see the good things that Donald Trump is doing. It doesn't really matter anyway because they're not going to report it. I mean, they rarely do. And, and if they do report it, it'll be one out of all of the legacy media stations. It'll be one that'll report it. But they come on, bro. It's not like nothing like, if it was Joe Biden or Barack Obama, it would have been, all day, news cycle of a story. With Trump, it's like they say it one time and then they just try to get on to something else with Epstein or something.
Administration is doing that. If it was any other president that came in under these conditions, they would be hailed as the greatest of all time. So since the mainstream media doesn't want to do it and the Democrat politicians would never do it, you and I are going to give them his flowers and give that administration their flowers right now. So I want to kick this off. I want you to listen to Deranged Bernie. Listen to what he says, and this is an example of the Democrats fear-mongering, trying to trigger people emotionally to fight on the behalf of illegal immigrants. They want people to vote against their better interests, give Democrats a chance to get back in the driver's.
I can't wait till this thing back pass, boy. We're gonna see if they still riding for these illegal immigrants, bro.
when they had 4 years. They had the White House, the Senate, and the House. And we saw that led to 9.2 record-breaking inflation. That led to as high as 60% price hikes. That led to high crime, attempts to defund the police, illegal immigration invasion, housing market overloaded. But in this video, you're going to hear about the mortgage rates and what's going on with them. You're going to hear about the jobs and what happens when you get rid of 3 million illegal immigrants. It's funny how Americans react to available opportunities. You're going to hear about what's going on. You're going to hear from President Trump. Just stick with me because you're going to love this because America is back. And we need some good news, some patriotic information on the heels of that Bad Bunny BS that we usually use the Super Bowl to celebrate and to be unified as Americans enjoying our sport. But check out Bernie Sanders and his deranged self.
You wonder whether Trump is completely crazy and delusional or just a pathological liar. But the idea that anybody would believe that this is a great economy when 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck, when the cost of the healthcare is going up, people can't afford housing, people can't afford their basic groceries, childcare system is dysfunctional, people can't afford to go to college. And if this is the greatest economy in the history of the world, God help us.
Is it me or does Bernie talk like his mouth is just filled up with saliva? I want to use the other word, but it sounds gross to say it. But don't his mouth feel like it sound like it just filled up? Like you want to say, take a swallow, spit that crap out. That's what you want to say. But listen to him now. Everything he said, housing market, Biden and the Democrats caused it. That's what happens when you flood the market with 20 million illegal immigrants who all of a sudden want housing, and you got the government putting them in housing that Americans and veterans could have had.
And what they want too is they done did all of this shit, right? With letting all these illegal immigrants come into the country. Their deficits are crazy. And all of these sanctuary cities are hurting. And what do they want to do? They want Donald Trump to bail them out. They want you, the taxpayer, the ones who've been paying for all of these illegal immigrants to get food, housing, and some CDLs, all types of stuff, bro. Businesses. And now they want you to come back around and help them recoup the losses that they obtained from doing the dumb shit. All of the inflation, all of the high gas prices, high grocery prices, all of that stuff was already there under Joe Biden before Donald Trump even came in. But he's the president now, so they're going to try to keep. Oh, he promised that lower prices on day one. It's just a talking point, bro.
Then he talked about the price. Oh, the price that Joe Biden and the Democrats caused with their massive spending. That's all Democrats know how to do. Spend, 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 spend. Forget structuring, forget cutting. We're going to spend our way out of a problem. And as we see, it never works. And then he talks about the health care, which is Obamacare. That Obama told us that health care will be the same amount as a cell phone bill, which we now know, a cell phone bill for a corporation like Amazon paying for every employee's service. That's how high the crap is. You got people paying as much for that a mortgage payment, a car note, and car insurance combined is how much people are paying for their health care, thanks to the Democrats. So that's
and on top of that, with the whole healthcare thing, I've seen videos where it was this white guy. He called and he said, "Hey, you guys didn't have my insurance. I sent my insurance to you, and I'm looking at my bill, and he's thinking like my bill should be lower, but his bill was actually higher." And he was like, "Oh yeah, that's because they took away the what was it? It was basically like he got credited for um not having health insurance. But when he found out he had health insurance, his bill went up. And so it's backwards, bro. Why am I like right now? I pay for health insurance, right? And it's like, so I gotta pay, and then when I go to the dentist, the doctor, or whatever, I got co-pays on top of that. But somebody who's just wants to be broke at home and he gets to get free everything. Like that doesn't make sense at all.
That's what Democrats do. They break it, and then when they're not in power, they trick the people and somehow convince ignorant people that, hey, we can fix it. These people don't know what they're doing, but let us fix it. Put us in there. We can fix it, even though they're the ones that broke it. Now, if you're enjoying this video, after we just heard that BS from Bernie Sanders, check out the good news.
Say that nobody's going to rain on my parade, and These numbers are what they are, and 50K. I made this hat 2 months ago, and the reason I made it is for exactly a day like today. All these naysayers steeped in politics continue to be negative. That's okay, because 50K says you've all been wrong. You keep from going in the water even though it's very hot outside. I say all the investment gurus out there, jump in the markets in the U.S. because global GDP is going to take a big ramp up, and the U.S. is leading the way.
Kitty, you want a hat?
I love that hat. And
just so you know, the Dow set a record that has never happened in the history of the Dow, hitting 50,000. President Trump has this economy, has the global markets roaring. And you got rhinos and Democrats doing everything they can to try to stop it. Why? Because the last thing they want is for the American people to feel it like they did during his first term. People felt it. That's why President Trump was reelected in 2020. And it's coming out that how much cheating was done in all of these blue states. I'm talking about massive cheating. That's why they keep saying the 2020 election was great. And anybody who spoke out against it was getting backlash, because the last thing they want is for that to be brought back up, because they know they cheated. Trump won. And if he would have came into that second term, they wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to do the damage they did. But it also helped out, because during those years, Trump and Americans were able to see the BS. They were able to see the fail of the Democrats get dropped, which is why now you got so many people flipping of all colors, black people, white people that are Democrats, flipping over, Latinos coming over Republican, because they see the Democrats are using their same old playbook: emotionally stimulate and trigger, call people racist and bigots, and it doesn't work. You know why? Because we got X. Thank God that Elon Musk did that. It really shows us how much censoring was going on even prior to Elon buying it, because never before have we had this type of flow of information where folks are able to share what's really going on. The real footage, not the edited crap that we see on TV. So as you heard him say, all the so-called experts were wrong. Oh, Trump, the quote, the great economists that all said.
Just think about it, though. Every single projection that these people have put out there to the American people have been wrong. So how, like, why should you believe anything that these people put out, bro? Seriously, man. Like inflation, uh, the stock market, everything, bro. They just been wrong. They was wrong about Epstein and Donald Trump. They've been wrong about everything. And if you look at these people, every time they talk, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, uh, Jasmine Crockett, Ilhan Omar, it's all desperation, bruh. All desperation. They're desperate. They're desperate. The faucet is off. And they're worried. You know, all of them, most of them are getting investigated for shit that they're into, especially Ilhan Omar with all the fraud that she's fucking involved with. You know, it's so much going on. But through it all, Donald Trump is pushing through it and playing chess, and they're playing checkers. And they're just angry. Every time you see these people talk, bro, they're just angry. They're angry. They're upset. Like, how could you be upset that the Dow is breaking records? How could you be upset that voter ID is about to be required for you to vote, so the elections are safe? If the elections are so safe, then it shouldn't be a problem. If you want the elections to be safe, if you want the elections to be legitimate, then you shouldn't have a problem. But these people have a problem because Donald Trump made it where they can no longer rob you. And that's all they care about doing, bro. That's all they care about doing. They were so desperate with the whole Obamacare play, right? Where they went from talking hot shit, shutting down the government for what, 40 some days, and got nothing for it. And they got so desperate. See, Donald Trump is a real businessman. He understands. They talking. We got him right where we need him. Desperate. And then it went from permanent Obamacare subsidies to what was it, 3 years or something, and then down it was just give us one, just give us 1 year, and we're cool with that. We'll figure it out later. Nah, negative. All you see in these people's faces is desperation, and they're scared, bro. They're scared because they know they did a lot of bullshit in 2020. They did a lot of rigging, a lot of stealing, a lot. These people are scared, boy. Them handcuffs is coming.
How Biden's economy was so great. It was awesome, even though we know it was bullcrap. And now we have an actual roaring economy, and it's going so good they can't even dispel it. But check this one out.
130,000 jobs created for the month of January. Wow. The estimate was 70,000. Wow, I was right, Maria. 4.3% is the unemployment rate. The street was looking for 4.4%.
So they expected new jobs to come in at 70,000, came in at 130,000. 60,000 jobs higher. Double. Also, the unemployment rate ticked down. Now, here's why that's so important. Under the Biden administration, I believe it was something like...
I just actually got my man a job. Yo, man, shout out to the economy booming.
70% of the jobs they created were government jobs. Democrats love big government because they believe government should make decisions for all of us. Yep. That's why they say they're going to destroy our democracy. They love to say our democracy. On the heels of all of the stuff that's taking place, democracy is a republic. But they love to say that because they mean that. They mean theirs, the government's democracy, where they can tell you to put poison in your body or you lose your job. Yep. They can come in and take your home and give it to an illegal immigrant. That's what they mean. And so the fact that the private sector is what's exploding under Trump, that's the impressive part. Remember all those jobs they said Americans didn't want? That's why the illegal immigrants was here. It's funny. Now that they're gone, how many people are lining up and jumping on those jobs?
Yeah, that's a fact, man. Shout out to Brian Maxwell, man. If you want to check out the rest of that video, go to Brian Maxwell on YouTube. But I got to cut the show short, unfortunately. It's a good one today, though, man. A lot of good information. That's, it's just good, man. Passing the SAVE Act. Economy is booming. Inflation is low. The job growth is impeccable. Everything is going above what the experts are putting out there. So that's a great thing, bro. That's a great thing. I go to the grocery store. I go to the gas station. So I see the progress, man. And it's only year one, bro. It's only year one. So, now going into year two, man, it's going to be a good one, guys. That's all I'm going to say. But, shout out to RJ Talks TV and Brian Maxwell also, man. But, tell me what you think, man. Do you think that the SAVE Act is racist? Do you think that it's Jim Crow 2.0? Like for real, man. Like, you got to agree that the Democrats really are trying to play you for a fool. Like, seriously, man. Like, it's getting out of control, to be honest with you, man. But anyway, that's the show for today, man. If you fuck with the show, please do me a favor and hit that like button, share the video. Also, comment down below whether you agree, disagree, it doesn't matter. Also, help your boy on the road to 1K subscribers. Hit that subscribe button for your boy. Also, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live. This your boy SL550. This is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Until next time, I'm out.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again. Lose again, lose again, lose again, lose again.